Sound is diffusing.
Heavenly Father, to you we praise. You're the reason why I lift my voice. You're the reason why I lift my hands. Age to age, you're still the same, yeah. Love there's no borderline. Never gonna be your borderline. That's all over, world over. You're the only God, couldn't find another. You be God, yeah, you know be mine. Over the years, Lord, you never fail me. This kind God, you do me like you never let me make a fall, no. Limiting your grace, me, I don't go like. Now you be the one way to make me go. Oh, but I
NXG. Number one. Money. I got down. Money goes to wall. Money they make mother man the ball. Money they make mama eat papa. Make grandpa killing your fiction child. Money make the world go evil. Money make the world go round. Me and I go pay for the money. Me and I go pay for this money. Me and I go kill for this money. This is some massive.
the love of my life, one walk away. Got to catch me with the best body. Somebody help me beggar. I know I lose this girl in a million.
NXG. Number one. Money. I got down. Money goes to wall. Money they make mother man the ball. Money they make mama eat papa. Make grandpa killing your fiction child. Money make the world go evil. Money make the world go round. Me and I go pay for the money. Me and I go pay for this money. Me and I go kill for this money. No mother man make money. No God make money. I make a got to give for the life breaking me child.
Between gentleman and going to the space, that is by Bureh. No, Scorpios was Santua and Rita Testisha, but she and my Bureh was in the same cell at Cape Kumasi, the military for a time being in Kenya, because there was two Mende king that by Bureh joined because the war started with the Southeast, they started it, and while Madam Yoko was playing in the street before, it was later on because of the fearless of the way by the way of ways that the British had to infiltrate his staff. Yeah, that made him get annoyed and he started. So we always look at him to be the hot tax war operator, but he started as a Southeastern affair. Yeah. After the independence, she came later, and the celebration of her. These were the judiciary. You know, it was all after the independence that we have chief justice. During the colony, it was the white and British people, and then we have the father of independence. He was the chief minister that opened the museum on the 10th December 1957. Officially,
and then he became the father of independence. And after his death, his younger brother took over. And then within the arena of election, there was a coup. And then he called on Justice Smith that came in and voted for a whole year. And then it went to Siaka Stevens Street. Yeah, he was not elected. And so he had to go, he had to undergo the same thing that his father undergo through the gentleman. Yes. And then later he took over for just 3 months and then over to our father who is now late. And then from him, that gentleman also did the same thing. But we are praying by that it will never be. Totally, that will be the end of it. And then we have the former president and our present president. Yeah. And this construction of the Chief Justice. Then so the national we discussed about the outreach program. We don't have bookers, but the schools hire the bookers. We come to the museum, not only the museum we stop, we go to other museums and we take them to historical sites and we can do things and just with them. But interestingly, we are not paid for that. Yeah, it's only now, last year, November, that the Sierra Leone implemented the ticketing. So now they pay for the ticket. Yeah, so it's like your idea and your vision will go in there. Yeah, and then that is because presently I've already introduced what we call a Museums Heritage School Club, where we give them the form to the schools. They give a minimum amount of 2,000 for the form, and that money is going to be their money due to the teacher responsible for that program in the school. And when we have a program, they will use that for administration, or they use it to entertain themselves. We don't take it from them because we are in constraint. The intervention is going on. The office is somehow, so we try to be creative. So that exactly what we're doing. And we have to talk about the big colonial and then the settlements. Exactly. The bus stop with families, and this is the way which is called the missionaries arrive. And this is the school, Gary Schulze College in Bureh, and it's instituted by Catholic, is what you see. And then we talk about very own now we will call it so you know that they are business people, and sometimes when you criticize what they say to you, they want to retrieve it again. That's how they got it. They got that out there one day. And these are the border houses that we said that the majority of them they always distinguish themselves that they are not slaves, especially in countries. Yeah, these are the elites. Yeah, they believe that they have everything. But this is the government house as a result of Sierra Leone, which are known as the white man grave due to the malaria. Yeah, because that was what was killing them slowly. They thought it was the human charm, and they had to go. A doctor came, did a specimen, and no, but interestingly, it was this gentleman. That was a former commission. He's the owner of the GSTV.
Yes.
You know, the archives, I
Honorable Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, good afternoon. Our distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to call this program to order. I am now calling on Sheikh Ahmed Ramadan Jallo for Muslim prayers. Sheikh Ahmed Ramadan Jallo.
Let us pray. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب صل سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة. Amen.
Also, Pastor Mrs.
Thank you for this program. Lord, we dedicate this program to you. Surrender all the effort that has been placed into it. We say thank you, Lord. We say thank you for the person behind it. We say thank you. Thank you for everything, Almighty Father. We say thank you for everything in this gathering. We say thank you for your job well done. These are not the masses we ask you. In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen. God bless you, man. Put your hands together for Pastor. Bring David to Gary. I am now calling on Mr. Ishmael, Abu Ishmael, yes, for the introduction of the chairman.
Gary Schulze, Director of Tourism, Acting Curator, our able artist, and Forte State, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm here to do a very short role, and that is to introduce the chairperson for this all-important occasion. The chairperson is someone all of us know. He is a Sierra Leonean, he is a patriot, an individual who stands for a value to transform and transcend Sierra Leone beyond the odds of all aspects relating to culture and to put it to the limelight of recognition and rebranding. He is an astute gentleman, he is a family man, and also an able cultural expert, and he is the chief advisor on cultural issues to not only the minister but also the government of Sierra Leone. And he is one who is inspiring, motivating, and he is a mentor to several of us, myself and numerous Sierra Leoneans who are yearning for a positive Sierra Leone. I don't want to bore you with the numerous accolades this young gentleman wears, and his robe is so huge with several colors of accolades. And I want at this point ask you all to give a round of applause as I call Mr. Fudi Jan, the Director of Culture.
Senior Cultural Officer and the people of the Cultural Directorate, I thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Minister our uncle, our dad, our grandfather, Gary, the younger brother of the great-great-grandson of the late Bureh. Believe it or believe it, we should come. I'm sure that when I make that statement, it's a policy statement. Because as directors, myself and my brother, we are all jealous, don't blame us. We are brothers from the same father but from different mothers. So that is why he's Mohammed, I am Fudi. But, Honorable Minister, I know when any of us make statements, we make statements when we are sure that that statement we are making, we are safe, and we know that you will be there to ensure that that statement comes to fruition. Gary should be made a paramount chief of Kase, like they have done for Bureh, like they did for Isaiah. Let's give that a very big what's his man for Bonds Island? What's his name again? No, the one for Bonds Island, the white guy. Joe Life for Bonds Island. He always tell you that in the words of Sierra Leone, Bonds Island is the place where history sleeps, and his aim is to make sure that that history wakes up from its slumber. And he was awarded the Order of the Hotel by the former president. For that, he was crowned a chief in one chiefdom in Mural district. And Gary has spent all his life, since I have known the name Gary before I saw him in flesh, it has been by Bureh. He was the one who brought the original Bureh picture that we were lucky to see when we were in private schools, because we were offering civics, and at the same time there was another book that carries the portraits of the great Bureh, but he brought the original picture. He popularized that. He spent his money, he printed materials and gave to the ministry, the commission, the museum, all about Bureh, and he did not tire. He went and came back for every time. I'm sure for every time he wants to come to Sierra Leone for this tourism, he thinks I should come and do something on Bureh. Since I have been the director and since I have known him, for the third time he's now coming, and he has said he wanted to, about 2 years ago, to do several of Bureh's portraits at several different locations. He had worked with the former mayor and other people for him to have space, but I am sure because of what transpired, I don't know, and I will not say, thank God he's been able to at least do one portrait. And as God may have it, that one portrait is or has been done at the epitome of our cultural history, the repository of our cultural history. And the chief repository of our cultural history is the Sierra Leone National Museum. So it is by no mistake that the first portrait, even though we wanted to do several, is going to be the one that is on the fence of the Sierra Leone National Museum. So, Madam Minister, we are asking you, you have been asking us since you came. Before you came, before your confirmation, you have been asking us, on behalf of the Tourism and Cultural Affairs Division and our subvented agencies, we are asking you that you ensure that in addition to other things that you do for us, that Gary Schulze be recognized and crowned as paramount chief for Kase Chiefdom, and it becomes one of the Burehs. They have done that for Isaac. Isaac has been become for Bureh districts quite recently. So it is possible, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to bore you with my statement. If I want to say things, I will continue to talk about several issues. Let's go to the point. I now ask that for this very significant occasion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for that very good opening remarks. Madam Minister, our revered guests, brother, uncle, grandfather, just like my brother was saying, our curator, colleague, staff of the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, visitors present here today. I think we are here for a very, very important occasion, an occasion wherein we consider as a very grateful generation, a generation that reflects on where we come from, on our heritage, our history, to recognize and hold in our mind the legacy of heroes that have stood for us in the past. And that is nobody but the great Bureh. Today we are here to unveil his portrait, and I believe it is a step in the right direction. For us in the tourism sector, more of these attractions, because when people come to our country, these are the things they want to see, and when they see a portrait of Bureh, they will ask, and they will learn, and they will know our history. I always say our heritage is not just transatlantic slavery. We need to go beyond that. We need to go into our history to see our own local heroes that we have here in Sierra Leone. On that note, I'm here to give a very short welcome address. I will really hope that at the end of this program, we should be able to go out there and have the legacy of Bureh to remain in our minds ever and ever and ever. But behind all these efforts that we are here to, I would say, celebrate, commemorate, recognize, is Mr. Gary Schulze. When I assumed office as the Director of Tourism, I remember, I could recall that I said, why is this man so interested in Sierra Leone? Why is this man so passionate about Bureh? There are very few people who will come from another heritage and then they are interested in other people's culture. And that one person is our revered guest sitting here. And I must say that he has been thinking out of the box to go and go out there and also appreciate and recognize people who have stood up for probably issues wherein other generations we are not happy about. That is, we all are aware of the hot tax law. On that note, I want to welcome you, and I hope that we will have a very short but very good program, and at the end of the day, unveil the portrait of our hero, Bureh. Thank you.
Like I told you, Gary, his passion, his life, his dedication, everything has been geared towards making sure that one of the heroes of Sierra Leone, Bureh, is being recognized not only by us, but generations yet to come, and for the sake of posterity. Gary, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. In 1896, the room that we're sitting in was part of the colony of Sierra Leone. The British government decided to extend it to a protectorate over the entire country, and in doing that, they established a house tax. They put a tax on every house in the protectorate. And there was a rebellion by a number of people, among whom was Bureh. There were also many warriors who had also rebelled. But Bureh, who was Loko Timbi, started to fight the British. And the fighting went on for some time, and Bureh was using what basically guerrilla tactics, similar to what we've seen in recent wars in the Western world. And he put up a good fight. But eventually, he was defeated, and he was arrested, and he was brought to Freetown, and he was held under house arrest in Ascension Town. He was there for several months. And interestingly enough, there was another house next to his house that was inhabited by Prempe the First, who was the Santahini of the Gold Coast, of the Ashanti people. So at that time, people were forbidden from taking Bureh's photographs. Many people came to Ascension Town. They all wanted to see what he looked like. But the British would not let anyone photograph him. Discovered an actual photograph of Bureh, sitting in Ascension Town, looking very much in control, looking very happy. This English officer asked Prempe, the Santahini of the Gold Coast, if he could take his picture, and Prempe said, no, absolutely not. Because if you go on the internet, you can find drawings of Prempe where he was forced to kiss the boot of the British governor. So he hated the English. The British photographer then asked Bureh if he could take his picture, and he said yes. So the picture was taken, and that's the picture that's in the museum. That's also the picture that's been depicted outside in color. And that picture has now become the new Bureh. Now, back in the days when I was a Peace Corps volunteer, I was teaching history at Albert Academy, and one of the people I was teaching about was Bureh. And since we only had the drawing of Bureh, I thought it would be interesting to have a statue of Bureh. So there was one Creole man here in Freetown who used to make statues for cemeteries. I went to see this man, and I showed him the drawing of Bureh, and I said, I want you to make a life-size statue of this man that we can put in the museum. So he said to me, well, what does he look like from the front? You only see from the side. I said, I have no idea what he looks like from the front. I said, you'll have to use your imagination. So about a week or two later, I got word that the statue was now ready. So together with 3 people here that worked at the museum, we went down to his workshop, which was in Tengbe Town, down in a gully. And there was this Bureh statue, and it was painted to look like a human being, and it was wrapped in country clothes. So the 3 of us carried the statue up the hill to a taxi. And when we got to the taxi, women were coming down the hill carrying pails of water, and when they saw this white guy carrying a dead body, they all started moaning and groaning and all the rest of it. Anyway, we brought the statue back. The statue is still in the museum. It's kind of broken down, lost an arm and a foot over the years and so on. So when the photograph was discovered in 2013, I felt very happy about that, because for the first time, we actually saw what Bureh looked like, and he did not look like that ugly statue. So we now have a mural outside, which the minister will unveil shortly. And that mural was produced by one of Sierra Leone's greatest artists, who's sitting next to me here, Mr. Alusine Bangura. In fact, those of you who are old enough to have been alive during the NPRC days, you may recall that there were portraits all over Freetown of all the heroes of Sierra Leone. There were also people like President John Kennedy and many others, all painted by Mr. Bangura. Unfortunately, as the years went by, the rains washed them away, so you can't find them anymore. So we commissioned him to do this portrait. He has also done all the portraits across the road at the Peace Monument. All those portraits of everyone from Siaka Stevens to John Akar were all done by Mr. Bangura. So he is one of, if not the foremost artists now in Sierra Leone. I'd just like to thank a couple of other people. I'd like to thank David Wright in the back, who's been working with me since 1993, who was very instrumental in getting all of this done. Also sitting somewhere back there is Musa, where is Musa? Anyway, Musa is, we have to credit Musa. He's the guy who said to me, why don't you do a mural out there and show me the wall? And he's been working on this ever since. And he said, look, you can't have a mural on the wall because it will get washed away like the other ones. Let's put it in glass. So we put it in glass. Then he said, no, you have to illuminate it at night. So we now have a solar light. So as soon as it gets dark, that mural will be lit up. And finally, I have to say this. I was in the post office a couple of weeks ago. I was trying to get a package that had been sent from the States. And the fellow who was handling the packages, someone called out and said, Bureh, over here. And I said, Bureh? Well, it turns out, he's here with us tonight. He is the great-grandson of Bureh. Where is he? Where are you? And if you look at the great-great-great-grandson. So with that, thank you very much. I'm turning it over now to the minister. I'm sorry, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. A very big round of applause. So, another great thanks be to God. He has been able to locate one of his cousins. On that note, I want us to recognize the presence of one of the leading philanthropists in Sierra Leone, somebody you know in business, somebody who is dedicated to help develop, package and promote culture for sustainable tourism development, somebody that facilitates the process for us to watch our prerogatives. Ladies and gentlemen, the Consul of Serbia, Dr. Adonis Abud, a former member of the Commission, the Monument and Heritage Commission. He was on the Commission between 2009 and for 2 or 3 years, to 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give him a round of applause for making sure that he told me he has spent 45 minutes and just along Bademba Road because the traffic is so tense. He has told you everything about Bureh. We all know that because of the significance of Bureh, that was why the British people made that drawings of him looking like somebody who's defeated, who's depressed, and the stories like he said that they published was not that we are defeated by Bureh, but they said that that was the way we have defeated Sierra Leone. Indeed, Bureh stood for all of us, before us, now, and those who are going to come after us. In fact, it was Bureh who made the land to come and support him as allies after 2 years of war. And let me just say, this is just an aside, madam. I spoke about the importance of the significance of the palm tree 2 Saturdays ago. The palm tree is the tree of life in Sierra Leone. That is why I know I have people here who are from the Limba ethnic group. They will tell you, after God, the most significant thing to the Limba people is the palm tree. Why is it the tree of life? Because it performs prior to now and in the future. It performs infrastructural, medicinal, nutritional, economical, social, utilitarian, and other values. Why am I saying this? The palm tree, it performs infrastructural functions. We use them up till now in Sierra Leone, even though they are constructing new roads and bridges every day. But for remote areas, the bridges are palm trees. True or false? Infrastructural. Most of the houses we have in the rural areas, the strongest posts that we now say, let us have this kind of pillar or the Roman pillar, are palm trees. True or false? The roof, it is palm tree, so infrastructurally, I am sure it performs a great deal of function for us. Socially, we have what we wanted to sweep our houses is from the palm front we have rooms. Is that not so? That's the utilitarian function. Socially, we come to eat Sierra Leone, drink Sierra Leone, feel Sierra Leone, and know Sierra Leone. We drink Sierra Leone through our locally brewed beverages. And palm wine is for natural and foremost when we talk about that. Is that not so? And we have tufi. There is tufi that comes from the palm tree. When you cut down the palm tree, when you fell that palm tree in Mende and Shaboland, there is tufi that flows from the palm tree. Social, economical. The Lemba people, they sell the palm wine to raise resources. They sell the palm oil. They sell the nut oil from the palm kernel. So there are 3 products. Nutritionally, we eat those things.
One more. One more. The black soap.
No, that's medicinal. That's medicinal.
But it's economical.
No, it's economical. Yes, you are right, my dear. It's economical, it's medicinal. We eat, even there are some kind of insects that comes out of that, they eat them, and it's very nutritious. Again, I can go on and on and on and on to tell you why it is the tree of life. They have talked about the medicinal side of it. You will see it to the prayer side of it. So, in 1898, when the Netherlands decided to join by Bureh to fight for our right against the hot tax that they had already imposed on us, it was on the 27th of April 1898 that they took the decision. And the sign, the symbol, the insignia that they used to communicate to people all over Sierra Leone was the palm frond, the palm tree. So that was why when they wanted to form SFPP in 1951, again they chose the same date, the 27th of April 1951, and they chose the palm frond because they were presented like the United Front, not in nomenclature, but in what was in their heart. That was why when our leaders went to Lancaster House in 1961, they also chose 27th of April for us to have our independence. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I now hand over you to our professor. We are just managing. In our local balance, they say that in Mau. Now that the smoke is extended, the fire. I present to you the chief unveiler, the distinguished Grand Chief Patron of this program, the Honorable Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs.
Thank you very much. The dynamic, our own Director of Culture. Whenever he's on the mic, I feel very safe and elated. I'm really happy that I'm going to listen more and more and more that can make me feel that I am no longer looking as maybe older as I thought, but he rejuvenates my thoughts in terms of what he says. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Gary, of course, Dr. Alusine Bangura, Acting Curator, Director of Tourism. I see we have a number of other people here. All protocols observed. Let me take this opportunity of thanking Gary on behalf of His Excellency and the rest of the government and all of us for your keen and very sustained interest in the history of Sierra Leone. Now, I remember 2 years ago at Bureh College, you may not remember, I remember seeing you standing in a car park. You were there, I think with someone else, and you went around to look for myself and Professor Joe Ali. I still remember. I was coming down from Kennedy Building. And this invitation was extended to me. Indeed, I came when you were unveiling the portrait. Now I know we are unveiling the painting. But since we spoke, the first thing that struck me was that why should somebody be so interested in Bureh? You know, I asked myself that someone can dedicate his life, his energy, and everything to propagate Bureh as a hero of Sierra Leone. So I said this must be very interesting. So to my mind, I started trying to find answers as to why Gary can take this as a lifetime work and a lifetime achievement. But it is very good, and it's a very, very patriotic venture. Not being a Sierra Leonean, but it's patriotic because you are indeed promoting one of the heroes of Sierra Leone. Oh, yes, Sierra Leonean. Oh, you got the passport now. Ah, wow. Wow, so it's becoming out that you now got the passport. So this is good. So it's a patriotic Sierra Leonean. Because for someone to be able to dedicate their time, their life, in terms of promoting the history of Sierra Leone, I think for us it's really remarkable and invaluable. So let's give him a round of applause. We are really very happy. Now, for us, as a Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, we see this as a very unique intervention in terms of promoting our culture, our heritage, our heroes, and then also providing us with a space which we can use to attract visitors that will come to Sierra Leone. Because many times when people try to come to a country like this, they try to investigate and to ask questions as to what and what do you think will be of value to me if I decide to come for a vacation to Sierra Leone. But the most important question is to learn about the history, culture, and language of its people. And for us to be able to answer those questions, we need people like Gary. We need more Garys in Sierra Leone. We need more Sierra Leoneans that can champion our history, that can be able to sell our heritage. This is really, really important. Now today we are talking about how are we going to ensure that we lift tourism from the doldrums and bring tourism to the doorstep of Sierra Leoneans. Promote domestic tourism, promote international tourism. For us to be able to do that, we need to preserve our history, our culture, propagate the life of our heroes, our vegetation. We need to talk about forests, our wildlife, our rivers, our mountains, and so many and so forth. So that is why we need to celebrate Gary. We celebrate him as one of those people who we are going to use as someone that has stood the test of time in supporting, propagating, and being an ambassador of our tourism. So we appreciate you. And I want to use this opportunity to say to all Sierra Leoneans, we want this industry to be a world-class industry. We want you Sierra Leoneans to take tourism and culture as part and parcel of your everyday living. Because once we do that, then we are starting to ensure that we are standing alongside the history of Sierra Leone. We are standing alongside the whole question of ensuring that we propagate and sell Sierra Leone. So this means that we are now trying to ensure that we get our people not only to support tourism, but to understand the history of Sierra Leone. Now I know we are in a country wherein, because of the problems we've had in our education system, we have a huge number of deficits in terms of people who actually understand our history, our culture. I'm not being critical or criticizing a whole range of people, but it's the reality. So that is why people like Gary, we're going to ensure that Gary becomes one of us. Gary becomes one of those people who can be our ambassadors in order that we can sell Sierra Leone. His work on Bureh will go a long way to let people understand what Sierra Leone stands for. Now, on the issue of why Bureh as a hero is important, so much has been said. Because Bureh signifies the first symbol of resistance. First symbol of resistance to colonialism. And this is what we know about him in history. Because when you want to talk about how and when countries like Sierra Leone started to be able to express themselves, to express their anger, to show that they are not happy with what is happening, what was going on, especially in terms of, asking people to pay for their huts. And the question was, why should I pay for my hut? Why should you ask me to pay tax for my hut? Those are legitimate questions. And for us, that is the birth of democratization. So there are many sides to the story of Bureh that we need to learn about, we need to take very seriously. So it's not only the issue of the touristic aspect, the historical aspect, but we need to look at the resistance of Bureh as the first step to Sierra Leone's role to ensuring that we start to express our rights, our fundamental rights in terms of how we express ourselves and how we try to question, which today has transformed into the kind of democratic system we have today, wherein people can go to the polls and vote for the government they want. And then there's peace. So these are all the things which are very important in terms of our history. Now, I would say that 2 years ago, it was a picture of Bureh. Today, it's going to be the painting of Bureh. Tomorrow, we don't know what it's going to be. But now I hear about the Bureh portrait going through the whole process of using e-resources, ICT, popularization of what we are talking about. So this is really good for all of us, because we need to have people that can stand as examples and people who we can look at and tell our history in the right way and in the right context. So I will end up by saying that we at the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, our doors are open. Our doors are open to these kinds of venture. We want to have more people, more Sierra Leoneans that can come to us and start to champion the story. If we don't do that, nobody's going to do it for us. And now we want to open the economy. We want to open the country in terms of tourism. We all heard loud and clear what was said by His Excellency at the state opening of Parliament, that tourism should become the breadbasket of Sierra Leone. No more shall we over-rely on diamond, gold, and bauxite. The life of those at some point to become depleted. But if we promote our culture, we promote our heroes, we promote our history, and we are able to attract quite a lot of international attention, we invest in domestic tourism, I think we are on the way to sustainable development. So on that note, I'd like to say that the Ministry of Tourism is having a U-turn. I am sure you must be hearing me here and there in a number of programs. We're going to ensure that we embark on massive public education. We are going to robustly ensure that we promote the image of Sierra Leone. I'm going to be working with groups. We're going to be working with organizations. We have many things that we want you people to do for us. The first thing is we want you people to have regular contact with us so that you can give us information with regards to where we have cultural heritage sites, because the country is huge. And we have large number of cultural heritage sites across the country which we've not been able to access, either because of the fact that we need to do more research, or we need to have the rules and histories, or we need to have the information so that we can be able to catalog them. Now, we also want you to support us when we start our domestic tourism program. We're going to go very aggressive and start local tourism programs where we can be able to facilitate citizens to move around the country and see what possibilities are there. Because as a Sierra Leonean, I'm not sure you enjoy your food right if you don't know Sierra Leone. So that is the first question. We need to get Sierra Leoneans to know Sierra Leone first. If you are in Freetown, don't tell me you've not gone beyond Waterloo. So we want to provide the process of going beyond Waterloo to see our Loma Mountains, to go to Tiwai Island, to go to many places so that you can able to see and be re-educated as a functional citizen. Because once we promote domestic tourism, we're actually increasing your level of civic education. Because you know, you understand, and that helps all of us. So on that note, let me thank you, and let me thank Gary and then my two guys for putting together this very short, snappy, and very interesting program. And that you'll be hearing from us. And I want to appeal to the media, don't be tired of our faces. Don't be tired of our faces. You are part and parcel of promoting tourism. If you don't take our voices out, then we don't have them. It's difficult for us to be heard. And also find time to do extra work around tourism. Come to these two guys, come to our office at Kingamaru, do some documentary, do a 2-minute video, you share it with us, you get it on YouTube. We have to make this work. We should not sit back and say it is the work of the ministry, it is the work of the minister, it is the work of those who are working there, or because the president has said so, it should be the work of government. The answer is no. Tourism is ours. Propagating our history is ours. Selling and changing our image is ours. Educating our young is ours. So on that note, let me thank you all and hope we have a very good evening.
And for us to embark on local tourism, it means we have to concentrate on eco-cultural and heritage tourism, which is what with us and they are with our communities. She emphasized the fact that will use culture as a vector for development. And one of the aspects that we'll use from the cultural sector is that about the actual unveiling of the mural of our great-great-great-grandfather, Dr. Abu, please.
Thank you very much, Director. I'll be very brief. Honorable Minister, I want to repeat what the Honorable Minister just mentioned now, that our revenue is not in gold and diamonds. If I was born in Kono, I would be ashamed to say I am born in Kono. Last year we had the quarterly diplomatic forum, and the theme at that time was minerals. After everybody had made his statement, myself and the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps and the General Manager of the government minerals, he opened the question time. I said, I have one question. When the British left, if you had kept only 0.25% of all the money which we got from diamond, which we exported, Kono would look like New York. It's a pity what Kono looks like. Tourism is the future. Tourism can bring all the revenue of foreign exchange to this land. We have the most beautiful beaches in West Africa. We wait until somebody comes from outside to remind us what we have. We do not appreciate what we have. I had a group of Rotarians, Honorable Minister, came from Indiana. You know the beauty of America. And I had them put them on the boat and they went to Banana Island. You cannot see what these guys, their eyes and how they couldn't express they were so much impressed by the beauty. They told me, Adonis, you have a paradise here. I said, yes, I know. They come from overseas to remind us that we have paradise. We have more than one paradise. My other dream is to see Mons Island and other Îles de Gorée. Why everybody goes to Senegal, to the Îles de Gorée? Thousands and thousands of people go to Îles de Gorée to look at the island and to read about the slavery. Nobody comes to Mons Island. We have a problem, yes. We have a problem, and that is the crossing from Lungi. I am a campaigner for the bridge since ever, and I continue to campaign for it. So that in 10 minutes, when people come here, we don't want them to be so much, disappointed and they want to get out, whether a tourist or an investor. So the future, Honorable Minister, is tourism. The God-given asset is there. All we need is for us to decide to promote them. And thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very big applause. Yes, indeed. He created what was said by the Honorable Minister, and he spoke about the significance of eco-cultural heritage and beach tourism. On that note, we are now going to proceed outside for the function proper. However, please sit, except for the journalists. Let us wait until the minister and entourage leaves.
What is what it's called? Yeah, we take one picture. And it's excellent. One star. How much you want? His Excellency.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like Dr. Adamu Sabu. That's Gary. The acting curator, please.
Gary.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government of Sierra Leone, the Honorable Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, Mrs. Memunatu Pratt, will now proceed to cut the tape.
Let's take this opportunity of once again thanking Gary and the team that put this painting together, that they have done a good work, and I now take this singular honor to cut the tape open in order that we can be able to unveil the painting of Bureh.
Thank you, Minister! His Excellency! Minister! I open it so! And His Excellency! Minister!
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the Honorable Minister
His Excellency!
for cutting the tape to unveil the mural of one of the most illustrious sons of Sierra Leone, the first person to stand for our rights as far as Pan-Africanism is concerned. Unfortunately, Madam, today is Pan-African Day, Pan-African Liberation Day, the 25th of May. So it is no coincidence that again you have championed this particular significant occasion to make sure that we unveil the mural of one of the leading people who led resistance to not only West Africa but in Africa.
Now the painting reads by Bureh, 1898, sponsored by Gary Schulze, Honorary Paramount Chief, Kagoro Chiefdom, Moyamba District. Honorary Paramount Chief, Kagoro Chiefdom, Moyamba District. So we want Sierra Leoneans that are coming through this site to be able to stand by and watch this portrait. I'm sure it's also a Sierra Leonean. So thank you, Gary. Thank you to all of you for being here. Let us ensure that we popularize this painting so that Sierra Leoneans can learn about the history and learn about the historic work and the historic of Bureh in 1998.
This is Mr. Alusine, the master painter. Mr. Alusine is also a government worker. He's a very senior officer of the Sierra Leone Correctional Services. And Madam Minister, I want you and the public to know that he was with Mako when they told me that we should ensure as a ministry for us to have a new cultural village. Mako is dead now. We are going to have a civic funeral for him, but we hope and pray that he will continue to stay with us until and unless we are able to make that place functional. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, make way for the Honorable Minister and our team.
Welcome the Minister to come.
Make way for the Honorable Minister and the team. To the acting curator for the food of that.
Mr. Gary Schulze, although not here, Mr. Adonis Abud, Director of Culture, Director of Tourism, on behalf of the Sierra Leone National Museum, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to the Honorable Minister for coming to grace this occasion and also to unveil the portrait of Bureh. I know the Minister has been so much busy, but since she loves culture and she wants the promotion of culture so that people will know that culture is not sleeping, culture do exist. And so because of that, she is here with us to see that culture be known to everybody. I'm very happy on behalf of the museum and everybody that the Minister is so dynamic. She will help us push the way forward for the promotion of culture in Sierra Leone. Madam Minister, we just thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you. We believe that you will continue to give us your support so so that things will move to a different direction to meet the president's agenda of change. Thank you very much, Madam Minister. Mr. Gary Schulze, you have done it again. We know Bureh is your baby. Thank you very much, because the last time, now you've gone so far to have the painting outside the wall. You have added a value to the museum. Now most visitors passing by will come along to see where the museum. Some of them will come and have snapshots with the portrait, and that will carry the name of the museum and Ministry of Tourism as a whole worldwide. For the visitors coming from abroad, the visitors from all over the diaspora. Thank you, Mr. Adonis Abu. You are timely. You are here. We thank you for your contribution. It was really good for you to give us that contribution, because we know your support will also carry tourism forward, as you have been always doing to support us. Thank you very much to make it, even though the traffic was too much for you, but you are here. Thank you, Mr. Director of Tourism. It's impromptu, but you did everything well, and we are really happy with you for your statement and welcome address. We hope that we will continue to work as one, as a family. Thank you very much, Mr. Director of Tourism. We love you, and we look more of you, to see more of you in the museum. Our able chairman, the Director of Culture, always willing, always pushful, always here, always supporting, always doing what's the best for the culture. We thank you very much for steering the ship this evening. We hope that we'll continue, as we have started for this new direction, we'll continue to have more programs in the museum so that things will move forward in the right way. Thank you, Mr. Director of Culture. Continue to be with us. For all of our distinguished visitors, we thank you very much for being with us this evening, and we hope that you continue to come to the museum and see what we have and support us to promote culture. For the press, we will not say much, because our able minister have told you all what we want you to do. So we expect more of you to make sure that everything we do, it will be over the press, because that is the way we will be promoted internationally and nationally. Thank you all for coming. We love you. We pray that God will continue to be with us together. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Acting Curator, for thanking us, and thank you to all of us, for making sure that.
Yes, what actually motivated you to only focus at my West, Wednesday, and not other fields?
I was here at the original, the first group of Peace Corps that came to Sierra Leone in 1962. I was one of those Peace Corps, and I was teaching history at Albert Academy. And in teaching the history at Albert Academy, we introduced for the first time Sierra Leone history. One of the people that I taught about was Bureh. That's how I got my interest in Bureh. And then I was transferred over here to this museum, and I wanted to have a statue made of Bureh. So I commissioned someone to create the statue. The statue is still in the museum, but it's not what Bureh really looked like. And through the photographs, once the photograph was discovered, we knew exactly what it was.
Thank you
to Gary Schulze. We can give me this original face of my Bureh. God bless him, God bless his generation. We don't stand still, we real original face of my Bureh. God bless him for that. God bless him.